No, but it's interesting. They women in the corporate world, they're right about different. Oh, someone wants to. Radio 4 of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation. This is a good morning and welcome to the Ndalama Insights, the show that empowers you to take charge of your financial future. I'm your host, Leslie Snyangwe, and today we're diving into the world of investing in shares, how to buy your very first stock on the Lusaka Securities Exchange. Many people want to invest but don't know where to start. Don't know what is a stock, how do you pick one, what does it take to get started. Today, Mukonki Mukonkela will help us break it all down. She's a financial expert and trainer in personal finance and investments. Mukonki Mukonkela, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Leslie. How have you been?
Not too bad. Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. I've recovered, I think,
Yeah.
fully. Good
Yeah.
morning, listeners across Zambia that are listening in. Those on the buses. My sister last week was telling me she was on a bus. She was like, I was listening to you. So everyone listening to me on the buses, good morning. Today's program is really exciting, Leslie, because we've been talking about investing in shares, but a lot of people don't know where to start from. So I want to help you to buy your first share today.
Mhm.
So if you are listening, my goal today is to ensure that you're able to buy your very first share using the LuSE app.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let's start with the basics, Mukonki. What exactly is a stock and why should someone consider investing in them?
Thank you. So stocks are when you buy a piece of a company, and they are very good for you because you can build wealth by owning a part of a company, and also buying shares help you to beat inflation because shares appreciate in the long term, especially if the company that you're buying, the instrument that you're buying is performing really well. We expect that the share price is going to increase, and normally that beats inflation. So it's a very good way of growing your money. And then the other one is that shares help you to earn passive income. You don't have to go to work at this company for you to make the money. All you do is once you buy the share, you start watching its performance, and hopefully it's going to be performing really well, and then you're going to be getting your returns through the dividends as well as capital appreciation. And we have the Lusaka Securities Exchange, which is where you buy and sell the shares in Zambia. The LuSE, which is we like to just shorten it like that. So the LuSE is the market where you go and buy and shares. You cannot go directly to a company that is selling the shares and buy from them. You need to trade through the Securities Exchange. In Zambia, it is the Lusaka Securities Exchange. Now, the LuSE has a platform that enables you to buy and sell shares, and it's regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. So everything the LuSE does is regulated by our Securities Exchange Commission, so that the investors are protected and your money is safe. So it's a very, very safe platform for you to go and build your wealth. The money that you've saved, you can now invest and grow it by buying shares.
Great.
Mm.
Now let's walk our listeners through the steps of picking and purchasing their first stock. Where should they start?
The very first step is you need to have what I call an investment account. This is a bank account where you are saving your money. So I like to recommend that you open either a savings account or a current account. Now, the good thing about the savings account is that you earn interest as long as you are following the rules. You're not withdrawing the minimum balances and you're depositing. You can earn a very little interest on that savings account, and then you can use that money to start making investments. You can also open a current account, depends on the usage. If you frequently use this account, you definitely need to consider the current account because you'll be charged less charges for frequent withdrawals. So the very first thing is to have an investment account. This is an account which is separate from any other accounts that you have, and don't use it for your day-to-day household expenditure or your salary or anything. Use this investment account just build up your savings that you're later going to use for investment. So that's the very first thing. Open an investment account with a commercial bank. We've got a number of commercial banks in Zambia. Choose one and have that account active.
And after opening a bank account, what's the next step?
The next step, Leslie, is the brokerage account. So I said for you to be able to buy and sell shares on the LuSE, you need to work through an intermediary, and and these intermediaries are called brokers. So in Zambia, we've got quite a number of licensed brokers. So if you go to the SEC website or even the LuSE website, you'll find a whole list of licensed brokers. Choose one. There's an application form that you need to fill in. Once you have your brokerage account activated, you're good to go. So that's the next step.
Okay. Looks simple enough. But how do listeners then determine how much they can invest?
So this is a very good question, and it's one that I normally get. And when I get this question, I tend to think, okay, I think we've got quite a number of work to do. So determining how much you need to invest really is dependent upon yourself. We are all different. So if it all depends, and also goals. How much money do you have available? What are your financial goals? How long, or are you able to afford to stay with this money at least for a substantial period of time? So don't invest money that you lose. That's the basic rule of thumb. So how much should you invest is dependent upon yourself. But then the question could be, is there a minimum amount to buy shares or a maximum amount? There isn't, but a good amount is better for better returns. That is what I would say in terms of how much you should invest. So a good amount, you can start with 1,000 kwacha. But if you're able to build it up to 10,000, 50, 100, you're good to go. So it's all dependent on yourself.
All right. Here's another question though. Would a loan be a suitable source of income to make an investment like this? Like, if I have access to, say, for instance, 200,000, I can get a loan of 200,000 or a loan of 150,000, thanks to a healthy salary or something that can allow you to get a 200,000. Would it be advisable to put a loan into shares and stocks?
So that's a common question again. Can I get a loan to buy shares or to buy bonds? It all depends on the interest rate. So you need to compare the interest rate on the loan compared to the interest rate or the return that you are going to make in the shares. So for instance, if the loan is charging you a variable interest rate, meaning that it changes whenever the MPR changes. If the loan is charging you a variable interest rate of, let's say, 28%, and then you've computed the return on the shares perhaps around 20%, it wouldn't really be very, practical or profitable for you to use the loan to buy the shares, because the interest that you are paying on the loan is higher than the return that you'll be getting from the shares. You can apply the same to any other investment like bonds and use that principle. So for me, that's my line of thinking. However, if you do find that the return on the shares is higher than the interest you're being charged on the loan, then that's fantastic. Perhaps it's something you could consider. Let's say the shares are giving you a return of 30% or 35%, whereas your loan is 28%. That's something you may consider. But another consideration is the period. Loans are normally required to be repaid monthly, Leslie. So every month you need to repay back the principal and the interest. Whereas with the shares, you get a dividend perhaps after 6 months, or dividends might not be declared. The share price might not appreciate. Maybe the company is not doing well. There's so many factors. And so really, ultimately, I would say it wouldn't make sense for you to borrow money to buy shares, because the performance of the shares is not dependent on you. You don't have that direct control. It's dependent on the performance of the company that you're buying.
Yeah. When you buy these shares, you have them permanently, right?
So again, it's up to you. You can always sell the shares if you like. So this is where traders like to play mostly. So trading is like some kind of betting in shares, really. Yeah. So this is where traders like to play. So if they see that they bought a company or an instrument at 3 kwacha, and then 2 weeks later it's selling at 15 kwacha, traders normally automatically go in and sell and make a profit. But for long-term investors, and this is something that I encourage people and those that follow me, if you're a long-term investor, you buy the shares for the long term. So you are not really played by the volatility or movements in the stock prices, because your aim is in building long-term wealth. Yeah.
Great. Well, you are listening to Andalama Insights. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
You are still listening.
I put 100 pin of a load in share.
How did it work?
I don't know, it's just static.
And
Then the other week I put another 50 pin. Yeah, you know what's happening? Huh? I thought I would get a lump sum from the stuff on big. Instead, I'm getting. So, it's working, I think.
Okay.
Radio 4 of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You are still listening to the Dalama Insights the radio show. Of course, if you have any questions, because earlier on I received a voice note. There was a gentleman who was actually saying he's got one of his former students, apparently a young man, really wants to invest in the stock market. And I suggest as well, this is what we are discussing today. So,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so he wants to know how to go about it. How does he buy his first stock and so on? So he wants to get in touch with you. I think I'll send him your number. I'm sure as we go on.
Well, I hope he's listening in.
Yeah, I really hope so too. I will send him the number so that he can definitely get in touch. So today we're basically talking about making your first on the Lusaka Securities Exchange. LuSE. We've already spoken about how you open your first bank. First, you open the bank account, an investment bank account. We've spoken about opening a brokerage account. We've spoken about your source of funding for investing. Now let's go to the next one. How do listeners then fund their accounts? Like, you've opened your accounts, all these accounts are open now. How do you fund your accounts on the LuSE app?
So before you even fund your account on the LuSE app, you need to install the LuSE app itself. And you find the LuSE app on the Google App Store. If you are on Apple, you can find it on the Apple App Store. And to fund your account on the LuSE app, once it's installed and you're able to log in, you see a dashboard. In fact, I've done a video that will show you the exact steps that I'm explaining right now. So for those of you that are just listening, you can log into YouTube, look for Mukonki Mukonkela. You're going to find a step-by-step guide of how to use the LuSE app itself. I've logged into the LuSE and taking you through those steps. So when you look at the dashboard, you see a button that says deposit. So click that deposit button. That deposit button is going to give you two options. One is to transfer money from your bank account to the LuSE app. The other one is to transfer money from your mobile money account to the LuSE app. So before you can even buy a share, you need to fund this account, which is basically on the LuSE app. So that is how you fund the account on the LuSE app. Yeah.
And how do you now pick your first stock? You're ready now.
Yeah. So now you are ready. You've got your savings. You funded the LuSE app account. Now you want to buy the shares. Below the buttons on the LuSE app, you see a whole list of companies that are listed on the LuSE. It's all the companies. There are more than 20. You need to have done a thorough research on the company you want to buy shares in. And there's quite a number of things that we look at. So you look at if you're interested in dividend, is the company a dividend paying company? How many times did they pay dividends last year? What is the dividend yield? The other one that you look out for is read the financial reports. If you go to the LuSE or the SEC website, you always find a link that takes you to the company website. It's a requirement. If it's a PLC, it has to publish financial reports. So you need to download those reports and look at their financial performance. What's been the share price increase like over the years? What about the profitability? What is the dividend yield itself? So those are a few factors that you need to consider. Who's the management team? How have they been managing the company? What are their strategic goals? Their vision for the long term? Do they even have a vision? So you need to look at this. Now, there's a lot that you need to consider, which is why every Friday, starting January this year, Leslie, I actually do a training every Friday from 9 to 12 to help you understand, how to assess a company and which company you need to pick. So once you pick the company from the LuSE app, it will take you through different windows that you need to choose. and some instructions that you need to give your broker. For example, you see a window that says time in force. Time in force is simply the instructions that you're giving your broker in terms of how they execute the trade on your behalf. So even if you are using the LuSE app, remember, you are trading through your broker. Your broker is finally going to complete the order that you're making, even through the LuSE app. So we've got different time in forces. I'll just give a few examples. Again, like I've said, you can go to the YouTube channel, at my YouTube channel, and watch the complete video. So one time in force that you see on the LuSE app is the day order. The day order is an instruction to your broker to say, to buy maybe 1,000 shares in AEC Mining Explosives. I want to buy them at this price, and it has to happen today. So if it doesn't occur today, cancel the order. So that's a day order. So we've got other time in forces that you see on the LuSE app that you need to understand how they operate. So once you are done with this, you post, and it will take you to a summary window that shows you how much you are buying and the fees, starting from the brokerage fees all the way up to the SEC fees, and then it will give you a amount that you need to pay. That is the amount that will be deducted from the account, your deposit account. And once you place order, you are good to go. You receive emails from LuSE confirming that you've actually bought shares. Of course, it's after a few days. And what's something to take note of that is very important is that the LuSE market is open between 11 a.m. to 14 p.m. So if you trade after the market has closed, you are going to receive a message to say market is closed, and you are unable to proceed with placing your order, and you can come back tomorrow and try again. So that is how you place an order on the LuSE app. Again, if you want to see the actual steps, go to Mukonki Mukonkela's website. I've done a very simplified video that actually shows the step-by-step processes on the LuSE app.
Great.
Yeah.
So after you've purchased the app, what do you then do?
So once you've placed your order, Leslie, the next thing is to start monitoring your investment. And monitoring your investment is simply about keeping an eye on how your instrument, your shares are performing. Is there an increase in the share price from the last time you bought your shares? Because that will affect your portfolio value or the value of the capital appreciation in terms of the share. So monitor and make decisions. If you feel like I can make a profit now, you can sell anytime. So you can always go back to the LuSE app and do the opposite. This time you are selling. So that's how you need to monitor your investments.
Great. Well, this has been very insightful. And of course, if you're planning on investing in shares, I hope this has been as detailed as it can be on radio.
Right. I like that.
But if you want more details, do check out Mukonki Mukonkela on YouTube. You can search for her, and you should be able to find a tutorial that you can follow step by step. You can also get in touch with Mukonki as well, obviously. But as we wrap up, any final tips for our listeners?
Yes. I'd like to say, for beginners, investing in shares is pretty straightforward, but you also need to acquire knowledge to be able to do this with confidence, which is why every Friday, start from this Friday. In fact, this Friday 14th, I've got a course. It's from 9 to 12. It's a whole PowerPoint presentation with exercises and very interactive that will help you cover everything, including all the questions that you have. How to pick the best stocks. How do you determine, how a company is performing and where I should put my money? So join me this Friday 14th, and you can contact me on 0977 44 56 04 to register for this online training. It's via Zoom. So it's 0977 44 56 04, or go to the website. In fact, when you go to our website, you can even find free downloads of ebooks that can get you started as you're beginning on your investment journey, and so many other exciting materials that you can find on the website. So also take time to visit the website and see what's there for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, Mukonki, thank you very much for making time for us this morning.
Thank you, Leslie. It's been a pleasure, and good morning, Zambia.
Great. You have been listening to Ndalama Insights. Of course, if you have been listening attentively, then you're definitely ready to start your investment journey. So follow the steps we've discussed today, and don't forget to join Mukonki on YouTube for more interactive content. Also, mark your calendars as well for Mukonki's online course this Friday, the 14th, from 9 to 12 hours. The perfect opportunity to learn how to invest in shares with confidence. Until next time, this is Leslie Nyagwe. Remember, your financial freedom starts with a single step. So take the step today, as simple as downloading the LuSE app.
Yeah.
You have been listening to the